listening.
When the world sleeps, the whispers begin. They called it dead air. For years, the old transmission tower on Black Ridge Hill had been silent, a relic from an abandoned AM station that went dark sometime in the late 80s. But on March 12th, 2023, a weather satellite registered a brief signal surge from that exact location. 4 seconds of static. Then, a voice. Do not listen past 217. The transmission repeated 3 times before cutting out. By dawn, no one in the surrounding towns could tune their radios without hearing a faint heartbeat beneath the static. The kind that doesn't stop when the power is off. The following audio logs, field recordings, and recovered reports comprise case file 04-31A. The broadcast tower at 2:17 a.m. The tower sat on an overgrown hill, 27 miles outside of town. A rusted fence circled its base. Warning, property of WKBX, do not enter. But the property had been abandoned since 1987, when a storm took out the main line and collapsed the studio roof. 3 weeks ago, a local amateur radio operator named Elliot Marin caught a signal on 1710 kilohertz. He thought it was interference until he recognized a voice, his own, calling his name through the noise. Elliot, step outside. He lived alone. No one knew that frequency except him. He recorded the audio, time-stamped at 2:17 a.m., and sent it to the Federal Communications Commission for analysis. The file arrived corrupted, embedded with a repeating pattern of coordinates that led directly to Black Ridge Hill. 2 field agents were dispatched, Agent Lawson and Agent Mirek. Both were tasked with inspecting the transmitter site and confirming whether any illegal broadcast equipment was operational. What they found was something else. At the base of the tower was a small maintenance shed, its door chained but the padlock open. Inside, dust, old reels, and a single functioning analog console glowing red. When Lawson switched it off, the hum didn't stop. When he switched it on again, the console whispered, "We've been waiting for you, Agent Lawson." The agents brought a portable recorder and left it running overnight. The following is a partial transcript. 1:58 a.m. Static present. Wind speed 8 miles per hour. 2:03. Brief spike in white noise. No discernible voice pattern. 2:17. Male voice detected. Content. Can you hear me now? 2:18. Second voice overlapping. Female. Unintelligible. 2:20. Both voices merge into sustained tone. 147 hertz. 2:22. Transmission ends. When the recording was played back in the lab, a deeper layer of sound was discovered beneath the static. A low rhythmic pulse exactly matching a human heartbeat. Each beat slowed with playback speed. At 0.75x speed, a phrase emerged, "Not live." Replay. The tower wasn't broadcasting. It was rebroadcasting. Someone, or something, had recorded those voices long before and was sending them again, perfectly synchronized with the agent's visit. Agent Mirek noted something odd in his report. The timestamp on his field recorder jumped ahead 3 hours, despite synchronized atomic time, meaning at 2:17 a.m., time itself skipped. After the FCC classified the event, a contracted technician named Harlan Voss was assigned to inspect the site. Voss had serviced decommissioned transmitters before. He knew the kind of decay they suffered, how static could mimic voices when coils degraded. He didn't believe in ghosts. Not until he powered the transmitter on, the console lit up. The air inside the shack became heavy, charged. Every speaker in the room, even his own field mic, whispered one thing in unison. "You're late." He pulled his headset off. The sound continued from inside his skull. Later analysis of Voss's log revealed something deeper. Embedded data in the RF bursts that formed words when converted to binary ASCII. The text read, "Tower awake, signal awake, 217 always." By the second night, the broadcasts began answering his questions before he asked them. "Who are you?" "Same as you." "What do you want?" "To stay heard." On the third night, the console began counting down. When analyzed spectrally, the static formed a recurring waveform every 43 seconds. A perfect sine crest with embedded modulations resembling human vocal harmonics. Someone realized the amplitude pattern wasn't random. It matched the shape of the tower itself when plotted vertically. The tower was transmitting its own structure. Each pulse at 2:17 a.m. emitted a signal that drew itself in code. A map of steel and wire and concrete foundations. Why? Voss theorized the tower was self-replicating, sending a schematic to any receiver capable of decoding it. When I tried to interrupt the process by cutting power, the diesel generator restarted on its own. The console displayed a single message: "Signal incomplete. Stay connected." A week later, locals began reporting voices bleeding into their car radios. Whispers mid-broadcast, naming listeners by full name and describing what they were wearing. When authorities checked the registry of broadcast frequencies, none were active. At 2:17 a.m., every receiver between channel 1500 and 1750 flickered. A voice came through. "If you can hear this, you're already repeating." Several of those who heard the broadcast later complained of temporal dislocation. Lost hours, watches stopping, mirrors reflecting different angles. In all, 12 listeners vanished. Their vehicles were found parked along the old highway leading up to Black Ridge Hill. Engines still warm, radios still tuned to 1710 kilohertz. One tape was found inside a car stereo, auto-recorded during the event. The tape captured a sound like breathing, rhythmic, mechanical, endless, followed by the faint crackle of rain that wasn't there. And then, "Welcome back, Elliot." March 19th, 1 week after the initial incident, multiple satellites detected a burst of a low-band frequency from the Black Ridge region. Duration, 14 seconds. Output, 3.4 megawatts. Content, unknown. Power grids across 3 counties dimmed momentarily. In that window, all devices connected to AM circuits began recording without input. Captured audio revealed a single synchronized heartbeat, pulsing 143 times before fading into silence. When investigators arrived, the tower was gone. In its place, a perfect circular patch of glassed earth, still warm to the touch. At the center lay Agent Lawson's wristwatch, still ticking, frozen at 2:17 a.m. 3 months passed after Black Ridge Hill went dark. No one climbed the ridge again. No one dared. But on June 23, 2023, at 2:17 a.m., every AM receiver within a 60-mile radius lit up. Not with static, not with words, with breathing. Slow, synchronized, human breathing. Thousands of listeners heard it. Each inhale and exhale measured exactly 3 seconds apart, every waveform identical, as if the same lungs was filling the air of every room, every car, every night watch shack across the valley. The signal was traced to an auxiliary tower 29 miles east, near the old highway rest stop. That tower hadn't existed before. There were no construction permits, no satellite logs, no utility feeds. But there it was. Metal ribs rising from the weeds, a blinking red beacon in the fog. One driver, a trucker named Reed Mallon, stopped to take a photo. When he zoomed in, he noticed the tower wasn't solid. It shimmered. The edges bent slightly, like heat over asphalt, and the air around it vibrated with a sound below hearing range. That same night, the first response transmission was received. On 1740 kilohertz, 2:17 a.m., the recording began like before. The same phrase, "Do not listen past 2:17. Then, something new. A second voice emerged beneath it. A child's voice whispering, "We found you." The frequencies overlapped perfectly, creating a third tone between them. An impossible harmonic, known in audio physics as a ghost frequency. That tone lasted exactly 143 seconds, and during that span, local power lines began to hum in tune with it. Residents described lights flickering in perfect rhythm with their heartbeats. When technicians replayed the transmission in reverse, the words were different. "We are learning your names." Every name listed matched one of the 12 missing people from the Black Ridge incident. But in the background, beneath the voice, another phrase hid in subharmonics. "File received. Continue replication." Satellite imaging revealed that a second tower had appeared the following week, 63 miles north, near the lake perimeter. A perfect triangle. 3 towers, 3 signals, all broadcasting the same message. 2:17 a.m. Synchronize. By then, the government sealed the area, but shortwave enthusiasts across the country began catching fragments of the same signal. Snippets bleeding into ham frequencies, police scanners, even baby monitors. The message wasn't bound to one frequency anymore. It was migrating, evolving. A transmission that had learned to travel through anything that listened long enough. Last month, a new phenomenon was recorded. Several smart speakers, offline, disconnected, powered on by themselves at 2:17 a.m. Every one of them whispered the same thing: "This is not your world anymore." And somewhere, in an archive of recovered audio, the voice of Harlan Voss, the technician who first heard the tower speak, plays on a loop, his tone hollow, unhuman. "We're all just frequencies now." They never found his body, just the headset, still recording static. And beneath that static, a faint echo of a second voice whispering, "Transmitting?" Somewhere in the fog between time and signal, something keeps transmitting. Maybe it was never a tower at all. Maybe it's what's left of us when we've said too much into the dark. The people who listened at 2:17, the ones who heard their own voices whisper back, they never came home. But every now and then, when the wind turns and your radio loses its station, you might catch the hum again, just a trace, just long enough to think someone's calling your name. If that happens, don't answer, don't speak back, because the moment you do, you become the next transmitter. And at 2:17 a.m., when the static clears, someone else will hear you breathing. They'll think it's their own echo. It won't be. I am the voice in the dark, and this is Whispers at Dark.
They're listening.
When the world sleeps, the whispers never end.